Welcome viewers once again to the NPTEL lecture series on integral equations. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the Fredholm theory to obtain resolvent kernel such that we can find the solution of inhomogeneous Fredholm integral equation of the second kind. So, we are going to discuss that Fredholm theory of Fredholm theory to obtain resolvent kernel for Fredholm integral equation, which is given by y x equal to f x plus lambda integral a to b k of x comma s y s ds. Now, you can recall that we have already discussed other possible methods to solve this kind of integral equation, and also we have obtained resolvent kernel to find out solution of this non-homogeneous Fredholm integral equation of the second kind. But here we are going to discuss the method introduced by Fredholm, which is comes out to be ratio of two infinite series that actually constitute the resolvent kernel. And as per the Fredholm theory, the solution of this equation is given by with the help of Fredholm resolvent kernel R x s lambda is y x is equal to f x plus lambda integral a to b r of x comma s lambda f s ds, where this resolvent kernel r x comma s is ratio of d x s lambda and delta lambda, where we assume that this delta lambda is not equal to 0, and these three quantities r x s lambda, this is known as Fredholm resolvent kernel this d x s lambda, this is known as Fredholm minor, and delta lambda, this is called Fredholm determinant. This is called Fredholm determinant, and now we have to find out or define this Fredholm minor and Fredholm determinant such that we can evaluate Fredholm resolvent kernel, and which in turn gives us the solution for the Fredholm integral equation. This Fredholm minor d x s lambda, this is defined by k x comma s plus sigma n runnings from 1 to infinity minus 1 whole to the power n lambda to the power n divided by factorial n b n x comma s, where each b n x comma s can be evaluated using this formula B n x comma s, that is equal to C n k x comma s minus n integral a to b k of x comma xi b n minus 1 xi comma s d xi. This formula is valid for n equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on, and in particular b 0 x comma s is defined by k x comma s. So, using this definition b 0 x comma s equal to k x comma s, of course, the formula for Fredholm minor can be written as b 0 x comma s plus sigma n running from 1 to infinity and so on. So, we can use this definition. Now, in order to evaluate this b n x comma s, we need the expression or the values of C n. These quantities C n's, these are defined by C n equal to integral a to b b n minus 1 x comma x dx, where n ranging from 1, 2, 3 and so on, and in particular C 0 is defined as exactly equal to 1. So, with these definitions for C 0 and C n, now we can define delta lambda, this is equal to 1 plus sigma n runnings from 1 to infinity minus 1 whole to the power n lambda to the power n by factorial n times C n. So, this is the definition for delta lambda. We have already defined d x s lambda. So, if we are able to evaluate each b n x comma s and these C n's, then we can find the resolvent kernel, Fredholm resolvent kernel R x comma s. Now, in some forthcoming examples, you can see that most of the time we will find that this C n and b n are 0 for values of n starting from say 2 and onwards. So, in most of the cases you can find first few values C j's, those are non-zero, and accordingly first few expressions for b n, those are non-zero, and rest of the quantities are exactly equal to 0, and this happens most of the time if we use the kernels, those are separable kernel, that is called degenerate kernel. Then most of the cases you can find after some CJs, first few non-zero CJs, rest of the CJs will be equal to 0, and accordingly we can find those BNs are also equal to 0, and therefore, instead of this infinite series for delta lambda and dxs lambda, most of the time we will be having a polynomial containing a finite number of terms, because rest of the terms are identically equal to 0. So, first we consider one example where we are just defining the kernel, which is a of course separable kernel, and for that we construct the Fredholm resolvent kernel using this formula. So, first example that we can consider k x comma s, this is given by 1 plus x plus s, where minus 1 less than equal to x comma s less than equal to 1. So, you can recall as per definition C 0 equal to 1, b 0 x comma s, this is equal to k x comma s. So, this is equal to 1 plus x plus s. Next, with this b 0 we can calculate C 1. You have to keep in mind that formula for b n involved C n and b n minus 1, and formula for C n involved b n minus 1. We already have C 0 and b 0. As per definition, b 0 is k x comma s. So, using this expression for b 0 x comma s, now we can calculate C 1. So, C 1, this is equal to minus 1 to plus 1 b 0 x comma x dx. So, this is equal to integral minus 1 to plus 1 to x plus 1 dx, and after evaluating this integral you can calculate this C1 is equal to 2, because the integral minus 1 to plus 1 2x dx, this is equal to 0 and rest of the term will result in 2. Now, for B1 x comma s, as per the given formula, this is C1 multiplied by k x comma s, then minus integral minus 1 to plus 1 k x comma xi multiplied with b0 xi comma s d xi, and this will be equal to C1 we have already obtained, this is equal to 2. So, 2 into 1 plus x plus s minus integral minus 1 to plus 1 1 plus x plus xi, this multiplied with 1 plus xi plus s d xi, because k x xi is nothing but 1 plus x plus xi, and b0 xi s is actually k xi s. So, k xi s equal to 1 plus xi plus s, and if you evaluate this integral, then it will result in minus 2 into x s plus 1/3. This will be the expression for B1 x s. So, we have obtained B1 x s. With this B1 x s, we can calculate C2. C2 is equal to integral minus 1 to plus 1 B1 x comma x. So, this will be equal to minus 2 integral minus 1 to plus 1 x square plus 1/3 dx, and after evaluating this integral you can find this will be equal to minus 8/3. So, now we have obtained C2, already we have in our hand B1 x comma s. So, now we can calculate B2 x comma s. B2 x comma s is equal to C2 k x comma s minus 2 integral minus 1 to plus 1 k x comma xi multiplied with B1 xi comma s d xi. This is the expression. You can recall already we have defined this formula for Bn. So, therefore, substituting these expressions we can find this will be minus 8/3 multiplied with 1 plus x plus s, and when we will be substituting for B1 xi comma s. So, this minus 2 will be clubbed with this minus 2. So, we will be having plus 4 integral minus 1 to plus 1 1 plus x plus xi, and from here we will be having xi s plus 1/3 d xi, and if you evaluate this integral, then you can find this integral is exactly equal to 0. Now, once you have B2 x comma s equal to 0, so therefore, C3 equal to integral minus 1 to plus 1 B2 x comma x dx, this should be equal to 0, and once C3 equal to 0, then immediately B3 x comma s, according to the formula, this is C3 k of x comma s minus 3 integral minus 1 to plus 1 k of x comma xi B2 xi comma s d xi. Now, this C3 equal to 0 and B2 xi comma s equal to 0. So, you will be having B3 equal to 0, and therefore, you can easily understand that all C4, C5 and so on, these constants should be identically equal to 0. Accordingly, B4 x comma xi, B5 x comma xi and so on, all of them will be equal to 0. So, as C3 and onwards are all equal to 0, and B3 and onwards all these quantities are identically equal to 0. So, therefore, we can find that d x comma s lambda d of x comma s lambda, this will be equal to k of x comma s minus lambda b1 x comma s, because b2 x comma s equal to 0, b3 x comma s equal to 0. So, none of the term will come here, and ultimately you will find this d x comma s lambda is equal to 1 plus x plus s plus 2 lambda multiplied with x s plus 1/3. So, this is actually your d of x comma s colon lambda, and delta lambda, this will be equal to 1 minus lambda c1 plus lambda square by 2 c2, and rest of the terms c3 c4 are all identically equal to 0. So, therefore, we will be having 1 minus 2 lambda minus 4 by 3 lambda square. So, this is the expression for delta lambda. So, in case this delta lambda is not equal to 0, assuming this delta lambda not equal to 0, we can obtain the corresponding resolvent kernel R x s lambda. This is equal to 1 plus x plus s plus 2 lambda multiplied with x s plus 1/3 whole divided by 1 minus 2 lambda minus 4 by 3 lambda square. So, this is the resolvent kernel, Fredholm resolvent kernel obtained by Fredholm method. Next, we solve an Fredholm integral equation using the same method. The given problem is yx, this is equal to x plus lambda integral 0 to 1 4 x s minus x square y s ds. So, this is our problem. So, in this case k x comma s is equal to 4 x s minus x square. This is our actually kernel. So, our first task is using the Fredholm method, we have to find out the Fredholm resolvent kernel, and for that purpose we have C0 equal to 1, B0 x comma s, that is equal to k x comma s, that is equal to 4 x s minus x square. Now, we can calculate C1. C1 is equal to integral 0 to 1 B0 x comma x dx. Now, B0 x comma x, this will be equal to 4 x square minus x square. So, that means 3 x square. So, integral 0 to 1 3 x square dx, and after evaluating this integral we can find this is equal to 1. Next, we can calculate B1 x comma s. B1 x comma s, as per definition, C1 k x comma s minus integral 0 to 1 k of x comma s, it will be x comma xi multiplied with B0 xi comma s d xi. So, substituting this expression, we can find this B1 x comma s, this will be equal to 4 x s minus x square, because C1 equal to 1. So, C1 k x s is nothing but k x s minus integral 0 to 1 4 x xi minus x square, this multiplied with 4 xi s minus xi square d xi. This will be equal to 4 x s minus x square minus integral 0 to 1 16 x s xi plus x square xi square minus 4 x square xi s minus 4 x xi cube d xi, and evaluating this integral you can find 4 x s minus x square minus from first one you can find 16 by 3 x s plus 1/3 x square minus it will be plus 2 x square s and then plus x. This will be actually minus, because integral of xi square from limit 0 to 1 is 1/3. So, minus 16 by 3 x s, then xi square d xi again 1/3. So, minus 1/3 x square, and from here half into 4 x square s. So, minus with this minus combined with give you plus 2 x square s, and finally 4 x by 4. So, this will be plus x, and after rearranging the terms and simplification you will be having 2 x square s minus 4 by 3 x square plus x minus 4 by 3 x s. So, this is our b 1 x comma s that we have calculated, and as we know the b value of b x expression for b x comma s. So, we can calculate C 2 equal to integral 0 to 1 b 1 x comma x dx. So, this is equal to integral 0 to 1 2 x cube minus 4 by 3 x square plus x minus 4 by 3 x square dx, and after evaluating this integral this will be half minus 4 by 9 plus half minus 4 by 9, and this will be equal to 1 by 9. So, this is the value for C 2. With this value for C 2, if we calculate B 2 x comma s, this will be equal to C 2 k x comma s minus 2 integral 0 to 1 4 x comma xi minus x square. This multiplied with, we have to write the expression for b 1 xi comma s. Now, b 1 xi comma s is 2 xi square s minus 4 by 3 xi square plus xi minus 4 by 3 xi s d xi, and if you evaluate this integral and after simplification it will comes out to be exactly equal to 0. And once you have b 2 x comma s, this is equal to 0. So, immediately C 3 equal to integral 0 to 1 b 2 x comma x dx, this is equal to 0, and using the formula for b 3 x comma s you can calculate this is equal to 0. So, C 3 equal to 0 and b 2 x comma s equal to 0 will give you b 3 x comma s equal to 0, and therefore, C 4 should be equal to 0 according to the formula. C 4 equal to integral 0 to 1 b 3 x comma x dx, and therefore, b 4 x comma s equal to 0, and hence we have all the constants C 3, C 4, C 5 and so on, those are identically equal to 0, and the functions b 2 x comma s, b 3 x comma s, all these functions are also equal to 0. That means, b 4, b 5 all of them are identically equal to 0, and therefore, delta lambda, that is Fredholm determinant, is given by 1 minus C 1 lambda plus C 2 lambda square by 2, that is equal to 1 minus lambda plus lambda square divided by 18, and d x s lambda, this d x s lambda, this is equal to 4 x s minus x square minus lambda into b1 x, that is 2 x square s minus 4 by 3 x square plus x minus 4 by 3 x s. This is the expression for b1 x comma s, and therefore, solution to the given problem is y x equal to x plus lambda divided by 1 minus lambda plus lambda square by 18, then integral 0 to 1 d of x s lambda s ds, because f x equal to x. So, f s is equal to s. So, this is the solution to the given integral equation. Next, we consider one more example. This example is taken from Alan Jerry's book on integral equation, where first of all we will find out the solution of the given Fredholm integral equation by this method, and then we will discuss another formula by which you can evaluate the quantities b1 x s, b2 x s and so on, and the constants c1, c2 and so on in terms of repeated integrals, and where integrands are actually determinants of order n plus 1 and of order n respectively. So, first of all we consider the problem here. The problem is y x is equal to f x plus lambda integral 0 to 1 x e to the power s y s ds. This is the given problem. Clearly, b 0 x comma s is equal to kernel of the given problem k x comma s. So, this is equal to x e to the power s. So, this is our kernel, and c 0 by definition this is equal to 1. So, now we can calculate c 1, this is equal to integral 0 to 1 x e to the power x dx. Evaluating, you can find e to the power x into x minus 1 limit 0 to 1, and this will result in this is equal to 1. Now, if we calculate b 1 x comma s, this is equal to c 1 k x comma s minus integral 0 to 1 x e to the power xi multiplied with xi e to the power s d xi. So, this will be equal to, since c 1 equal to 1, so x e to the power s minus, we can take x e to the power s outside the integral, x e to the power s, then integral 0 to 1 xi e to the power xi d xi. Here we have already evaluated integral 0 to 1 x e to the power x dx equal to 1. So, therefore, this will be equal to x e to the power s minus x e to the power s into 1. So, that means this is identically equal to 0. So, b 1 x comma s is equal to 0, and once b 1 x comma s is equal to 0. So, therefore, c 2 this is equal to 0, and c 2 equal to 0, this implies b 2 x comma s, this is also equal to 0, and therefore, we can write c n, this is equal to 0 for n equal to 2, 3 and so on, and b n x comma s, this is equal to 0 for n equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on. So, therefore, d x s lambda, this is only k x comma s. So, that is equal to x e to the power s, and delta lambda, this is equal to 1 minus lambda c 1, since we have evaluated c 1 equal to 1. So, this will be equal to 1 minus lambda, and therefore, the resolvent kernel obtained using Fredholm method, that is R x s lambda, this is equal to x e to the power s divided by 1 minus lambda. This is the resolvent kernel, and therefore, solution to the given problem is given by yx equal to fx plus lambda whole divided by 1 minus lambda integral 0 to 1 x e to the power s fs ds. This is the solution to the given integral equation. Now, we define the alternative way by which we can calculate these b n x comma s and c n's. Of course, we have to keep in mind that b 0 x comma s is nothing but k x comma s, and c 0 is also equal to 1. So, the alternative way to expressing b n x and c n. b n x comma s and c n. And here this alternative way, one sense it is important that in earlier method you have observed that calculation of b n x comma s depends upon the value of c n and the expression for b n minus 1 x s, and evaluation of c n was related to the expression for b n minus 1 x comma s. Now, in this alternative approach we do not need the expressions for b n minus 1 in order to calculate c n, and the value of c n and the expression for b n minus 1 in order to evaluate b n x comma s. So, first of all we define this b n x comma s is equal to integral a to b integral a to b up to integral a to b, then determinant k x comma s k x comma s1 up to k x comma sn. This is the first row. Second row k s1 comma s k s1 comma s1 proceeding in this way k of s1 comma sn. Finally, last row will be k sn comma s k sn comma s1, last term k sn comma sn, this determinant d s1 d s2 up to d sn. This is the expression for b n x comma s, and c n, this is defined by integral a to b integral a to b integral a to b, this determinant k of s1 comma s1 k of s1 comma s2 up to k of s1 comma sn. This is the first row. Second row k of s2 comma s1 k of s2 comma s2 dot dot k of s2 comma sn. Proceeding in this way, last row will be k of sn comma s1 k of sn comma s2, last term is k of sn comma sn, then d s1 d s2 up to d sn. So, in both these cases, although we have to evaluate these nth order integrals, but from previous examples what we have discussed, you can able to understand using the property of determinant we will be able to prove that b n's will be equal to 0 for values of n say 3, 4 and onwards, or for example say 2, 3 and onwards. Now, with this alternative definition for the expression of Bn x comma s and Cn, we can solve the last problem that we have just solved, that is the yx equal to fx plus integral 0 to 1 x e to the power s fs ds pre multiplied by lambda. So, this problem we are going to solve using these definitions for Bn x comma s and C. So, C0 equal to 1, B0 x comma s, this is equal to x e to the power s. Now, you can see that C1, this will involve only one integral, that is integral 0 to 1 ds1, and here determinant consists of only one term, that is we are having 1 cross 1 determinant, that is a scalar quantity k s1 s1 ds1. So, this will be integral 0 to 1 s1 e to the power s1 ds1, this is equal to 1. Then B1 x comma s, this is equal to integral 0 to 1 second order determinant k x comma s, k x comma s1, then k s1 comma s, and then k s1 comma s1 d s1. And if we substitute the expressions, so this will be 0 to 1 determinant x e to the power s, x e to the power s1, then s1 e to the power s1 and s1, this will be s1 e to the power s, and this is s1 e to the power s1 d s1. So, from the first column we can take e to the power s common, from the second column we can take out e to the power s1 column common. So, e to the power s integral 0 to 1 e to the power s1, then determinant x s1 x s1 d s1, this determinant is 0. So, clearly B1 x comma s is equal to 0. Next, if we calculate C2, this will be equal to double integral 0 to 1 determinant k of s1 comma s1, then k of s1 comma s2, second row k of s2 comma s1, and then k of s2 comma s2 ds1 ds2. If we substitute the expressions for kernels, it will be s1 e to the power s1, then s1 e to the power s2, then s2 e to the power s1 and s2 e to the power s2 d s1 d s2. So, if we take out the exponentials from the determinant, that means taking e to the power s1 common from the first column and e to the power s2 from the second column, then e to the power s1 plus s2 multiplied with first column s1 s2, second column of the determinant is again s1 s2 d s1 d s2. So, this is equal to 0. So, although here we do not have any link between B2 and C2 in order to evaluate them using this alternative method. So, this C2 equal to 0. Now, in order to understand the rest of the expressions for B3 and onwards will be equal to 0, we can just have a look at the expressions for B2x. If we look at the expression for B2x comma s, this will be double integral 0 to 1 a third order determinant. I am not writing the that is k x comma s, I am directly substituting their expressions. First row will consist of x e to the power s, then x e to the power s1, and then x e to the power s2. Then second row will be s1 e to the power s, s1 e to the power s1, s1 e to the power s2, and third row is s2 e to the power s, then s2 e to the power s1, and then s2 e to the power s2 with respect to ds1 ds2. And you can write this is equal to integral 0 to 1 integral 0 to 1 e to the power s plus s1 plus s2 multiplied with determinant first row x s1 s2, second row column x s1 s2, third column x s1 s2. All these columns are identical. So, determinant is exactly equal to 0, and therefore, b 2 x comma s is also equal to 0. So, proceeding in this way, and if you are able to understand this argument, all other determinants involved with b 3 x comma s, b 4 x comma s will produce this kind of determinant, each of which will be identically equal to 0, and therefore, all other b 2 x comma s, b 3 x comma s are identically equal to 0, and also this kind of determinant will be involved with c j's also, and therefore, all the c j's except c 0 and c 1 are identically equal to 0. So, you will be having all these quantities are identically equal to 0. Now, before concluding this lecture, I define 3 theorems of Fredholm, and before defining those theorems, I just want to recall that in the last lecture we have considered one example where we have discussed about eigenvalues and eigenfunctions associated with the homogeneous Fredholm integral equation. You can recall that in case of homogeneous Fredholm integral equation, we have eigenvalues and eigenfunctions, and with an illustrative example we have discussed in detail that sometimes those equations may not have any non-trivial solution, and if they have some non-trivial solution, then sometimes they admit infinite number of solutions. So, whenever this lambda satisfies the condition delta lambda equal to 0, that means if we choose a particular value of lambda which is a 0 of the function delta lambda, or in other words those are the eigenvalues of the associated homogeneous problem, then what will be the nature of solution, and in which case we will be having infinite number of solutions. Those can be summarized by 3 theorem of Fredholm. So, first of all we consider Fredholm first theorem. Fredholm first theorem. It states that the inhomogeneous Fredholm integral equation, inhomogeneous Fredholm integral equation y x equal to f x plus lambda integral a to b k of x comma s y s ds, where a less than equal to x comma s less than equal to b. This is the range. F x and k x comma s are continuous in finite interval a comma b, possesses unique solution unique continuous solution given by y x equal to f x plus lambda integral a to b r of x comma s lambda f s ds when delta lambda this is not equal to 0, that is lambda is not an eigenvalue. In case delta lambda not equal to 0, that means lambda is not an eigenvalue, then this Fredholm integral equation possesses unique continuous solution that is given by this one. This R x s lambda here I have written intended to mean the Fredholm resolvent kernel, but of course, by using other method you can also calculate this resolvent kernel which will be a solution of this Fredholm integral equation. Then second theorem states that in this case we are assuming that the particular lambda involved with the equation, say lambda 0, which is an eigenvalue. So, this is Fredholm's second theorem. It states that let lambda 0 is 0 of multiplicity m of delta lambda, that is the homogeneous equation y x equal to lambda 0 integral a to b k of x comma s y s ds possesses m linearly independent non-zero solutions which are denoted by psi phi 1 x, phi 2 x up to phi m x, then m is finite and the equation u x equal to lambda 0 integral a to b k of s comma s u s ds also possesses m linearly independent solutions which are denoted by psi 1 x, psi 2 x up to psi m x. In this case, the inhomogeneous Fredholm integral equation that we have written earlier has no solution unless f x is orthogonal to each of the functions xi j x for j runnings from 1 to up to m, that is integral a to b f x psi r x dx, this is equal to 0 for r equal to 1 to up to m. So, we will have non-trivial solution whenever this condition, that is integral a to b f x psi r x dx equal to 0. That means, this f x is orthogonal to each of the eigenfunctions psi 1 x, psi 2 x up to psi m x, and these psi 1 x, psi 2 x up to psi m x, these are the eigenfunctions of the problem defined by u x equal to lambda 0 integral a to b k s comma x u s ds. And last Fredholm theorem, that is the Fredholm Thirds theorem, that gives us whenever this condition is satisfied, that means f x satisfies the condition, that is psi r x when multiplied with f x integral a to b 0, that means it is orthogonal to each of the eigenfunctions psi 1, psi 2 up to psi m x, then the non-trivial solution of the equation is given by as a linear combination of these eigenfunctions. This is the Fredholm's third theorem. If lambda equal to lambda 0 and integral a to b f x psi r x dx, this is equal to 0, where r equal to 1, 2, 3 up to m hold true, then the solution of inhomogeneous Fredholm integral equation is given by C 1 phi 1 x plus C 2 phi 2 x plus dot dot plus C n phi n x, where C j's, j running from 1 to m, are arbitrary constants. So, these are actually three Fredholm's theorem associated with the Fredholm integral equation of the second kind, and in case this lambda is not an eigenvalue of the associated homogeneous problem, and f x and k x comma is, that is kernel, those are continuous over the interval a comma b, then we have unique solution. And in case lambda equal to lambda 0, this is an m fold eigenvalue or a 0 of delta lambda of multiplicity m, then we will be having m eigenfunctions. And if f x satisfies this orthogonality condition, that is integral a to b f x psi r x dx equal to 0 for r runnings from 1 to m, then we have infinite number of solutions for the inhomogeneous Fredholm integral equation, because the C 1, C 2 up to C n, these are all arbitrary constants, and a linear combination of these eigenfunctions, that is C 1 phi 1 x plus C 2 phi 2 x plus up to dot dot, that is C n phi m x, this will be the solution of this. This last term will be C m phi m x, where C j is ranging from 1 to m. This is the infinite number of solutions for the inhomogeneous Fredholm integral equation. Today I stop at this point. In next lecture we will be considering Hilbert-Smith theory for this Fredholm integral equation. So, thank you for your attention.